So even though my channel is not very big, I get to play with some really high-end hardware. And after a point, you stop getting very excited about these cool things because they become your everyday life. But the monitor that we are going to take a look at today is an exception because it's not a high-end monitor, but it is the best gaming monitor which has all the features that you can think of. At a price point of rupees. Hey guys, I am Siddharth and this is Asus ROG PG27UQ review. So the design of this monitor is very unapologetically gaming focused. Even from 200 meters away, you will know that this is a gaming monitor. This is also a thick monitor with all the tech inside, and even the stand is very specially designed because it also has features that you may not have seen before. We have some oddly thick bezels around its display, but that is kind of needed to contain the display horsepower that this monitor has. At bottom, you have an HDMI port, a display port, a USB upstream because you have another two USB ports to which you can connect your USB devices. And then we have an audio out port for audio via HDMI or DisplayPort. The 27-inch display is a quantum dot IPS panel with a 4K resolution that can run at 144 Hz. And that means that you no longer have to choose between higher resolutions or refresh rate because this gives you the best of both worlds. Being an IPS display, it also offers really great viewing angles, accurate colors, and you even get 97% DCI-P3 coverage, which means that this will work really well for doing professional work with video or images. It has 384 dimmable zones that light up the panel, which gives it OLED-like blacks, and that really makes a huge difference. But since even 384 zones aren't nearly small enough to light up the pixels individually, you get halos around visible UI elements if they are on a completely black background. This can be a little distracting at first, but when you are watching movies or playing games, this isn't noticeable most of the times. And the extreme levels of contrast that this technology brings really changes how you experience content on the monitor. But the goodness doesn't end here, as this monitor also supports HDR. It has Display HDR 1000 certification, and that is a really important distinction from other monitors that advertise themselves as having HDR. Because HDR has different levels, and something like HDR 400 means that you don't need zone level dimming on the monitor, which means that you are really not going to get increased contrast with these monitors, and the only thing they do is mess up the colors. So having something like HDR 400 is almost as good as not having it. But Display HDR 1000 is the real deal. It means that you get 1000 nits of brightness with zone level dimming, and that makes all the difference that you need to experience what HDR actually means. Now 4K gaming is already difficult to achieve at 4K even with something like an RTX 2080 Ti. But for competitive games and esports, you can really get 144 Hz refresh rate at 4K, and that will really give you a competitive edge because you will get the detail of 4K resolution with the smoothness of 144 Hz refresh rate. For most other games, you can switch to 1440p resolution, and as this monitor also supports G-Sync, you will not be getting frame tearing even if your PC isn't able to push 144 frames per second. But I think that a lot of people have ignored the actual application of something like this, because 4K 144 Hz is something that I don't think we'll be able to push anytime soon with the graphically intensive games. But the real value of something like this is that you can game at 1440p and do everything else at 4K. So I have been using a dual 4K monitor setup for a long time now, and I need to have 4K resolution because I work on 4K videos. And I think that even general consumers should use 4K monitors now because they allow you to watch 4K videos on YouTube along with 4K movies, and text and images on 4K is a really big upgrade over 1080p. But mixing monitors of different resolutions really messes things up in a multi-monitor setup because you get some really bad scaling issues with Windows when you do that. So adding something like this to a multi-monitor setup means that you can work on it and you can game on it at high refresh rates. And this solves this really big problem that I experience while using my PC. Now one caveat with this monitor is not an issue with this monitor, but DisplayPort 1.4 interface, which is unable to push enough data to drive 4K at 144Hz without color compression. So up to 4K 120Hz you get no color compression, but 144Hz at 4K runs at 422 chroma subsampling, which means that using desktop in this mode feels a bit off. But for games, it doesn't make a very noticeable difference. But personally, what I do is just set it at 120Hz because I don't mind that. We also have some extra over-the-top features on this, like Asus really wants you to know that they have made this monitor, and you get an ROG logo projected on your table, and it even has a projector in the stand that projects a big ROG logo on the wall behind this monitor, which I found to be really amusing. You also have this very gamery pattern with a big ROG logo that lights up with RGB, which is of course Aura Sync compatible, so you can sync it with your PC and other stuff. At this price point, you are of course going to get a stand that offers all the adjustments. So there is tilt and a 35-degree swivel in either direction, and there is also pivot and height adjustment, so you can use it any way you like. You can also remove this stand to mount this on a VESA stand. We have a fan on this monitor because it has to drive a 4K display at 144Hz, and if you have a completely silent room like I have in winters, it is slightly audible, but I only noticed it when I was trying to hear it and I didn't find it to be distracting. So this is unsurprisingly the best display experience that I have ever had. Whether it is watching movies or playing games or editing videos, everything looks its best on this. Using desktop at 144Hz is also really awesome, and even scrolling web pages and moving the mouse on screen feels much better and smoother. The buttons and joystick system at back works well, and you also have some extra features to assist you in gaming, like having a crosshair at the center. But there are some odd limitations with the menu system, like you cannot control brightness when you are in sRGB mode through the menu, but that is possible with the monitor brightness control software that I use on Windows. By the way, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with bell icon because I have some really awesome videos lined up. You also have a light sensor on top which you can use to control brightness and adjust black levels automatically, but I didn't find it to work very well in my room. Now the price tag is at around 1.5 lakh rupees on this one, so my regular strategy about recommending products is not going to work here. This monitor is probably not going to be affordable for a lot of people. If you are in India, you will either be in a camp that cannot even think about buying it, or you will be in a class where you will easily be able to afford this because price tags are just numbers for you. If you are looking for something purely for gaming, then unless you are exclusively playing esports titles, I would recommend a 1440p 144Hz monitor, as that is going to be more practical. And if you are looking for something for general use and to work on, the 4K 60Hz monitor are more economical choice, even if they are very boring in comparison. But if you are like me and you want to do both on a monitor, in addition to having a kick-ass HDR experience, there is nothing that comes close to the panel that you have in this monitor. The PG27UQ is like luxury sports car of monitors, and it is an experience that I wish everyone could at least get to try for once to see what is technologically possible. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section below. I'll have links in the video description if you want to buy this. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it or a thumbs down if you disliked it, and subscribe to my channel with bell icon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.